Akira. Thank you so much for attending this special workshop. Some time ago we scored sample of soybean powder, dry form from one of our the kind of famous, miso paste makers, right? And then one of our noodle making masters, made soybean noodles, from this sample, and then it turned out really, really good. In terms of noodle texture, flavor and everything. So we thought, why not share, our discovery, right? With you guys to see like if you guys can like develop this into some, great product that you can sell to your customers in your country, right? So, soybean is like, well, it's a ingredient that that we've been using like in different forms of food, right? Tofu made of soybeans, right? And then of course soy sauce, right? And the miso. Um, so it's something that you know we we've been like eating like over like for centuries, right? We've been like in different forms or another. So I thought like we thought like okay, why not use soybean as an ingredient for noodles that may be coupled with some soup that's with seasoned with the soy sauce and stuff. And then I thought I think it'll be like go really well. Um, so so we're gonna make soybean noodles, right? I can make me gonna make them later on Richmen Gold I, which is one of the most advanced noodle machines that we have, right? That's great for micro noodle factory business, and then for those of you who are been running some restaurant for some time, but like well then interested in like making your own noodles, right? Um, so it's an all-in-one machine that works great to make great soybean noodles, and then of course a variety of other types of noodles as well. So what I do today, this workshop is I just want to go over some slides, right? First, and then for you guys to understand like soybean noodles first, and then how we kind of experiment and make our own like how we develop like new recipes, right? And then go over like some features like which we go one, and then we'll start making soybean noodles. Okay, so let me go over some slides first, and then and then talk about which can go to one. So soybean noodles made of Richmen Gold I, right? And then this is the actual picture of cooked soybean noodles that we made before, right? And then just kind of jumping right into the kind of soybean, kind of looking at the soybeans as noodle ingredients, right? And then if you have whole soybeans, right, before they're processed, right? So there's a lot of water, right, in it. A lot of water. Think about tofu, right? They make tofu from soybeans. That's always watery, and then you can make tofu like hard and soft, right? I mean, depend. I mean, by varying, changing the proportion of water content, right? Then protein was like, soybean has like, among the best source of like plant-based protein, right? And so like 18.2 grams, right? Carbs, like low carb product. So like soybeans are often associated with low carb food. So in Japan, there's a lot of food products using soybeans, and then claiming they're, um, low possible carbohydrates, right? Sugar and then fiber. Soybeans is like very high in fiber. And it has like kind of good fat content to it. So this basically soybeans is very healthy, like a rich source of plant-based protein and fat, and then high fiber content is good for your gut health, right? So, but the one we got from kind of famous miso manufacturer is that like this is a sample of soybean flour we got, right? So protein is like if you dry them, right, protein gets like it's very high, 48.5 grams. It's 100 gram soybean. It carbs like 30 grams, and then sugar 18, fiber 12 grams, and then fat 21 grams percent, right? So using this soybean flour, usually, so this is how we go about making, a new noodle recipe, right? Okay, so it's a ramen, like wheat flour that we use for ramen noodles, right? So it has like, really, really high protein content, like, probably 11%, 11.5%. And soybean flour, as you saw, like, it's very high in protein, like 38 or something. So as you may know, right, the higher protein, the harder the noodle texture. And then, well, we combine this dry powder solid ingredients, right? And then how we usually go about is that like, well, we go by like, first, like, because we don't know how the noodle texture is gonna turn out. So we usually go like, when we are blending like two different dry powders, right? We should go by like 50-50 first and see like how the noodle texture is going to turn out. So go 50-50, and then okay, let's say like we have like flour A, flour B, right? And then flour A has a higher protein content, right? And then the noodle texture turns out to be like, well, harder than we want it, right? Then we may decrease the amount of flour A by 10%, and increase the amount of flour B by 10%, 40 to 60%. And then see how the noodle texture turns out. Like, so this is how we go through like kind of trial and error to reach the final noodle recipe. And then water hydration, usually we go by like 35% or 33%. That's kind of in the middle of the hydration range. Like 25% being the lowest point, and then 45% being the highest point, right? You go by kind of like stuck in the middle in terms of hydration to see how the noodle texture turns out, right? And then another thing that we want to keep in mind is like these 5 variables that kind of affect the noodle texture, the final noodle texture. So basically wheat protein, right? Protein content of wheat, like 7% soft, 13% hard. But in our case, like the soybean noodles, protein like just go beyond like our imagination, like over maybe we combine them together, right? 11% and 38%. It's probably going to be like somewhere around like 28, 29% or something. So, but the wheat viscosity starch is that like something that well makes dramatic or different in terms of noodle texture. So basically higher the viscosity, chewier the noodle texture. So if you have just use flour that has like high protein content but like in a low viscosity value, then you're making just noodles that are like just hard but like kind of not elastic, right? So that's not gonna be like a good noodle texture. And then in terms of hydration, there's a higher the hydration, softer the noodle texture, right? So in our case, like using protein, the soybean flour that has like very high protein content, you may want to increase the hydration ratio even more to kind of compensate for the hard noodle texture that may come out from the high protein content. And then noodle size, right? So the thickness, the width, but basically, well, of course, like the larger, the harder, right? So in our case, in this example our version that we're gonna do today, we'll probably stick to the kind of middle point, which is about 20, like 1.5 millimeter. And then think about like how you gonna serve your soybean noodles. If you serve them cold, then you're kind of emphasizing that hardness of the noodle texture. And if you serve them hot, warm, and then you're gonna emphasize, you're gonna focus on that like the softness of the noodle texture. So you know these five variables, like you wanna keep in mind when structuring your noodle recipes. And then so the last thing I want to touch on, right, is the like cost of noodle production. So labor, ingredients, utility costs. Like when you're making like regular type of like fresh noodle or noodles, the total cost of like making one serving of fresh noodles may come down to like somewhere around like for 25 cents. You know, but like using kind of some special ingredients like soybean flour powder. It really depends on like a local ingredient cost, right? But so in our case, right, I just calculated that you know the cost of this soybean flour powder, right? So it shot up to 25 cents per serving. So the total came down to like 38 cents per serving. So it's a little bit like high, but like, well, if you can sell these noodles like maybe $1 or something per serving, then you're making a lot of money. So Richmen Gold I is well one of the most advanced what the most advanced like all-in-one model that we have like for kind of small to mid-size production. And Richmen Gold I has been like very 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 popular with the past like few years, right, since we started selling it. Then the reason that it's been popular is that like it's got like three vital strengths. Like, is it like definitely ease of use, and then its versatility, like the capable flexibility of making different types of noodles, and then built-in noodle making other techniques. So allow me to go, but touch on like more on one by one, right? Ease of use, like for example, like it has this automatic feeding function. So you place the dough right on the conveyor, and then on the Richmond Gold one, and then you just leave it, and then the rest of cross like is done by Richmond Gold one, right? And then it also has this little conveyor set at a high point. In conventional noodle making machine, like you know the where you can catch noodles, right? Noodles that are coming out of machine are set at like a really low point. So you'd have to like bend over and then kind of spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes like in the upward position and catching noodles, right? But Richmond Gold One is set at like 65 centimeters high from the ground, so it's yeah, it's easy on your back. You can just put a regular chair in front of it, and then you can just catch noodles in a comfortable position, right? So that's easy on your workers. So and then you can control everything on the touch panel. So see the roller gap, how much what the roller gap is set up, right? Instead of like looking at some like weird indicator, that's very confusing. And then you can set the roll speed. Basically, see you can see everything that's going on in the machine during the operation. So it's a lot of things that are invisible or like hidden in the manual operated machine. You can see on the which we one. The versatility, flexibility, the definitely variety of noodles and sizes you can make on this machine. Um, to compare, right, with the like for example conventional pasta machine, right? The basically the range of hydrations that conventional pasta machines that can make, right, are capable of making. In terms of the kind of noodles that it can make, right, are very narrow. It's like 32% and the 36%, like it's very narrow range that you can, it's capable of making, right? But Richmond Gold One, it can cover between like 25% and 45% in hydration of the noodles that it's capable of making. Right? So if we're talking about like well hydration noodles, like well the most popular ramen noodles in the world. I got the tonkotsu noodles to well conventional fresh pasta, of course. Mixed ramen, maybe hydration, and then two high hydration noodles like udon, sukemen, and certain types of Chinese noodles that will be probably going to cover this month. So it's very flexible. So yeah, the hydration range that it can cover, right? You can see in the picture, like it's very different, right? Dramatically different, like a condition of dough, like very dry to pretty wet dough. Um, yeah, but in the conventional pasta machines, like it's almost impossible to do this. And then, of course, like as you can see, it's like colorful dough. It's very easy to do this kind of dough in the Richmen Gold I just by adding this, flavoring ingredients into mixing process. It's very easy to do. And lastly, right? So the reason that regional ones been like very popular is that like you don't have to rely on skilled labor or like experienced labor, right? Anyone can just start making like very good noodles, that are equivalent to like those noodles that are made by professionals, noodle making artisans with for 10 years of experience. um, that's because it has all these functionalities and systems that allow you to do it. And so you can walk the dog properly, right? I mean, it regulates the roller speed. So roller speed is very important, right? We want to change the roller speed, like depending on where the which phase that like we are in, right? Kind of noodle production, and then it optimizes the gluten development, right? Without damaging it. And you can adjust the roll gap accordingly, right? And then compounding process is very important too. It's almost like a walking the dough, right? Walking the muscle, developing muscle for your ideal noodle texture. And then this is now actually, and then so it's all built in the Richmen Gold I machine. So before we start making, noodles on Richmen Gold I, right? I just want to talk about like these, it's kind of a remote like virtual workshop. Watching it like great, right? Like lots of valuable information. You can watch how the noodle machine works, and then you can watch like how we can make different types of noodles, right? But nothing is more engaging and then, experiential than actually going to a physical place and then watch and experience the machine and the noodles in person. So for those of you who are watching from United States, right, we have special workshop in Houston, Texas. Like we have a showroom in Houston, Texas. That means that like you can come, instead of like coming to like the specific days, you can actually get an appointment and come there like for a demo, right? But special workshop like that's coming like later this month, 27th and 8th. Um, it's just $60 per attendee, right? Um, you know, it's like too cheap almost, like in terms of like what you can do, what you can get out of this workshop. You can get to learn about like how you can make like variety of noodles, and then you can get to try the noodles like fresh made, right? And then you can learn about a lot of things that that may benefit your business. And then for people who are watching from Europe, right? We have a showroom in Amsterdam, Netherlands. And again, like we have a special workshop coming up, like 12th, 20th, and 27th, and then that's just €50 per attendee. So it's a no-brainer that um, that you can experience a lot. You can get a lot of benefit by attending this workshop. So please, consider signing up for this. We have pages set up for this workshop because we have limited seats. So please go to our website and sign up for your seat. Also, we are broadcasting this from our HQ, right, in Kagawa, Japan. And then, so we are planning to do this like 2-day special workshop, and the best of all, right, that's free, February 21st to February 22nd. Yeah, the legendary, noodle guru, Mr. Fuji, is going to have a special kind of consultation, time slot. So, but that's limited in number. So, if you're interested in, kind of consulting something with him, like just hurry up and sign up for your seat. And then we're gonna have like lots of good stuff. Be prepared for these 2 days, right? Um, kind of go deeper into like a ramen noodle um, making, right, on 21st. And then because Kagawa is home to Sanuki udon, which is the most famous udon in the world, right? So on 22nd, like we're gonna go deep into like udon, right? And then we're gonna have like lots and lots more at our HQ. Like so many things that you can learn by visiting us in Kagawa. So please think about coming. And then we have a page set up for you to sign up for it. You see, so please hurry up and get your seat before we it's sold out. So okay, okay, let's start making soybean noodles, and then on Richmen Gold I. So meet Richmen Gold I, and then this is the only one machine. It's been very one of the most popular noodle machines that like we've been selling for the past 3 years, and people are loving it. And then so first off, right, so we have to make a dough, right? Then this is the Tenkyo mixer. So now we have see the this yellow powder is the soybean, right? And then white powder is the ramen flour. And then so this is a 10 kilograms mixer, right? But the minimum batch is 4, so we making 4 kilograms. And then this is a silky mixer. This is a new type of mixer that like we've developed like through research and development. Then basically um, it's designed to make mix the dough in the ideal optimized condition. So it has this like lid, right, with the like really small holes, right, but like I don't know, more holes to render better hydration of dough. And then because the liquid is dripping through these holes, like just little by little, so it's taking longer time for the dough to add the liquid, right, to the flour to better hydrate the dough. And then the rotation speed is like 75 rotations per minute. That we found like to be like ideal rotation speed for noodle dough, right? And then the key to good hydration is that like we just add like 2/3 of the liquid first, right, and then mix it for 4 minutes. And after that, we're going to kind of clean the mixer inside the mixer because some of the dough like the stuck like and they wetter than the other part of the dough, right? So want to mix them up to kind of even them out, right? Yeah. So the total mixing time 10 minutes, but we don't. we just hate to, you know, waste your time, right? So make me prepare dough in advance. So the dough is put in a plastic bag and then well sealed, right, to keep it from drying. And then so this is what we call the first resting process, which condition the dough to the ideal condition, right? Yeah, there are a lot of benefits that you can get out of resting process. And then she now she's adjusting the roller gap to now like to 1 millimeter. Yeah, if you check out this condition of dough, it's kind of yellow colored dough. That that comes from the soybean, also from the pansy, the potassium carbonate we added to the flour. Okay, so once you place the dough, right, and then we go, we switch to the start, and then the dough is just gonna come out, and then all you have to just wind it onto the rolling pin, and then Richmen Gold I does the rest of the process for you. So wheat flour has about 14 to 15% like water content, the wheat flour, but the soybean flour that we got, does not have much the water content, right? So when you mix them at like 50%, then it's just that it gets drier, right? I mean, it's 35% hydration ratio, but like that dough condition doesn't look like uh, 35%, but it looks more like 28, like 29, 30%. So we consider it to be low hydration noodles. Yeah, even though like hydration, the water amount of water that we add to this solid ingredients is 35% in weight. It's just that like it's not because of that powder form we added. So when you're adding like different ingredients than regular wheat flour stuff, right? And then we wanted to look at the water content of the ingredients, right? Depending on what it is that you're adding, right? If the water content is like lower than 14 to 15%, you want to consider, maybe increasing the amount of water you add to, get that kind of noodle texture you want, right? So yeah, originally we want like we're going slow first because we want to at this point in time like just kind of turning this powdery flour dough into this sheet of dough, right? So we want to apply like really high pressure, right, to turn it into this sheet of dough. So that's why we want to go slow. And then after that, right, after this process, like the dough is still pretty fragile. It's very weak still. So we want to walk the dough, kind of develop the gluten inside, right? By to do that, what we want to do is that like we want to separate it into two sheets, and then we want to combine them through the set of roller, right? By feeding them the rollers. So she increased the roll gap a little bit by 0.5 millimeter because we are combining these two separate sheets of dough, right? You know, so that means that like that was like 1 millimeter plus 1 millimeter equivalent to dough coming out, right? So we are thinning 2 millimeter equivalent dough, all right. So 1. Thinning it at 1.5 is kind of a proper, it gives like this dough like kind of proper amount of pressure to be combined, and then at the same time like kind of developing the gluten inside the dough. And again, like we want to go slow this process. We want to we are combining kind of sticking the two separate sheets of dough right together for the bola. So you want to apply good heavy enough pressure to stick them together, right? So yeah, so this version like we did like 50%, right? And then kind of having some ingredients that are not like do not have something that you can stick together, like which means like for example like gluten. Then the percentage of like mix ratio is like very important, like in terms of if like easiness of making the noodles. So definitely like the more uh, ingredients you put, like more ingredients that like that's not, well, for example gluten free ingredients that you put, right, mix, then the harder the noodle making would be. So but so it's a kind of trade-off, right, between okay kind of noodle texture you want to, or the kind of flavor you want to get into your noodles, to how practical, how easy the noodle production will be, right? So I think if you want to hit the right balance between the practicality and the ideal the noodles that you are seeking to develop, right? So and then so we do this process twice usually, depending on the type of noodle we're making, right? But yeah, so that was 1.5 millimeter roll gap that this roll dough went through, right? So now we are combining them again. So it's 1.5 millimeter each. So like this 3 millimeter thickness dough that's going to the roller, right? So to reset the roll gap to 2 millimeter to kind of apply the good enough pressure the dough. Yeah, so second time combining my so customers ask us like, okay, what if we do this like combine process like 3 times, 4 times? Can we, well, make the dough stronger? And so we did the experiments, and then check the sort of noodle texture, the strength and the hardness. Then we found out that like after second time, the noodle texture didn't improve. So yeah, the second 2 times is probably best. We can get our noodle texture to do the best. With the 2 times of combining. So But after two times combined process, right? It's done. Times no texture, and then it's two. So that 2.7, right? It's going to like actually 2.2 millimeter roll gap, and then so it bounced back by 0.5 or so. Then from this point on, right, we want to start dusting, to keep the dough from sticking. Up to combining process, we wanted to, combine them, right? So like, we didn't want to dust, because dusting like keeps them from sticking, right? So yeah, but from this point on, you want to dust. We'll start dusting. So we have this automatic duster. So we'll start dusting, starting dust, and then so the dough gets dusted like on the conveyor belt. So the conveyor belt is like get dusted, and then the dough touches the conveyor belt, and then dough gets dusted. So no, kind of directly, but yeah, it's getting dusted anyway. So another reason that like Richmen Gold I is being very popular is that like you can put anyone without any experience, the skills on this machine to make beautiful noodles. Because of like it also like also because of the it's most advanced safety features that are installed in this the commercial noodle machines. So gives you peace of mind, like well, it's very difficult to get injured or like using this machine because of the most advanced like safety features they have in this machine. And then so it's going through 1.5 millimeter, right? And then it's like 2 millimeter. So it's different than 0.5 millimeter. So that means that like this dough bounces back by 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 millimeter. Okay. So knowing this, right? So we can start cutting. The kind of cutter we use is this slitter cutter, right? So each groove is 1.5 millimeter number 20 cutter, 1.5 millimeter. So we're gonna do kind of square shaped noodle, right? 1.5, 1.5. So to cut it, yeah, so we're gonna feed that dough into the cutter, right? And then we can set the duster right above the dough that's going into the cutter, right? That's directly onto the dough. It's coming out, and then so noodles coming out, and then so see how easy the megumi looks, right? Catching these noodles, right? So you can use like a regular folding chair or something, right? Put it in front of it, and then you just just catch it, and then you can speed up the cutting. You can slow it down depending on how you're used to this. And then yeah, there's a function that you can slow it down as well, and then you can also definitely it's very easy to do. It's very easy to change the serving size. You just need to like change the length of a noodle. It's very easy to do. So you know, and imagine like very visible, right? You know, but so you can just like you can maybe think about like putting this piece of machine into like um, basically showcase it, right? Showcase it to like where you know what a customer is like, and then customer can watch. Maybe like put it in inside a restaurant, and then put a glass wall or something, right? And then let the customers see, watch how the noodles are made, right? How the noodles made, and then you know, it's kind of entertaining for your customer, right? Like it gives you like it gives your customer like kind of peace of mind, kind of sense of safety, that their noodles are like made from scratch right in front of the eyes. And yeah, in fact, we have a lot of customers displaying their noodle production to the customers, and then that probably gives they imagine like if you can put this in like in a room where facing the streets, like people walking around, right? Then you know that gives you like kind of put more customers like that are like in a foot, right? And then so soybean noodles, we're going to our kitchen, right? And then show you guys how we cook them, and then how we um, probably break them up. So, Mr. Sang actually, yeah, developed this soybean recipe, and then is one of our noodle masters we have for school. And then so he's gonna show us like how we can cook the soybean noodles, right? Right, so let's get started. Yeah. And do this so. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
今日はちょっと一番簡単の、中の手打ち麺の作り方で、ちょっと今日作ってみました。
Yeah. So Mr. Song is going to show us like kind of easiest way of cooking this type of noodles. That he usually uses this for kind of handmade.
中国の有効麺とか、ペアンペア麺とか、あと、はい、あと混ぜ麺、これ一番簡単なすぐなしの麺ですぐできるの。
There's like a Yubo man or like a Biambia man, kind of wait, tosha, like shaved noodles, and then like soupless noodles. He has like a lot of recipes up his fridge, and then so yeah, so he's gonna cook the noodles for.
同じようにとりあえず麺を入れます。
Yeah, so first of like we need to cook the noodles, right? Make sure you have a boiling water. So cook it for 2 minutes.
はい。で、今日使う材料はこちらです。
So these are the ingredients we're going to use today.
はい。中国の混ぜ麺は一番簡単なのは、その麺を入れて、その麺の上にこちらの材料、かけて、 で、また調味料をかけて、で、温めた油を上にかけます。
Yeah, so it's a very simple noodle dish, Chinese super noodles. Like so, yeah. So we have cooked noodles, right? And they put cooked noodle in there, and then put these toppings, and then the seasoning, right? And then what we do is that like we're gonna heat up the oil, and then add the hot oil over it. So it's a very simple Chinese noodle dish, but it's very good. Yeah, so noodle cooking is the probably very important process. You wanna have the proper noodle cooker for sure, and then make sure, right, strain the water as much as you can, right. Okay, so the ginger, ground ginger, minced garlic, the scallions, chili pepper, but like bigger. Then that's a shrimp pepper, the sugar, just a little bit, soy sauce, that's Chinese soy sauce, and maybe the salt, then hot oil. So oil, right? When you pour oil, we wanna pour a little bit and then pour a little bit, so like kind of separate it like a couple times.
で、トッピングとしてもいいし、もともと料理でこういうトマト卵とか、
So
肉のとか、
so like as a topping, right? It could be whatever, right? But kind of sweet, pork meat or like kind of a mapo tofu sort of topping, right? And then
で、パクチー好きやったら、また
yeah, the sherbet, like that's the herb, that's famous for kind of Vietnamese pho and stuff. So wow, that was very fast, but like this is the so it's some like Chinese soup place, um, noodle dish that you can start making or serving in your restaurant from tomorrow, and then you can start wowing your customers with this dish, right, from tomorrow. So thank you, Mr. Song. Like that was fast and fantastic. Thanks so much. And so, yeah, that's it for what we have for this workshop. And then, we're going to be doing a lot and lots of this kind of a workshop, right? And then, the one of the worst thing about this kind of like online workshop is that like, we can't let you guys try this, right? We can let you guys try. But, again, if you can come to our, showroom, like private demo or like, special workshop that we have like later this month in Houston, Texas, or, Amsterdam, Netherlands, or, if you can come to Kagawa, fly over to Japan, later this month, right? We can definitely let you guys try, these noodles and more, right? So please, we have pages set up for you guys to sign up for your seats, right? Number of seats we have available limited, so please consider coming. And then yeah, so and then we're gonna be doing like more and more stuff like this month, right? This type of workshop, online course. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. If you kind of content, please like. Hope to see you back in the next workshop. So thank you so much. Bye bye.